Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the Sepulcrum. It is a new pistol that is unlocked with rank 2 Entrati in the new Syndicate at Deimos. So if you're using this for an Eidolon build, it's probably going to look something like this. I have 7 Forma on this build because I was a little bit indecisive on what I wanted to do, but you could do it with 6 for sure. So you have your base damage mods, Hornet Strike here that you find on any pistol, and then you have only heat. This is the only elemental mod on because we will be using Shock Trooper to make radiation. Your next 2 mods would be your primed pistol gambit for your extra crit chance, since this weapon has quite a fair amount of crit chance to start out with, as well as following it up with primed target cracker, since there's no point building a crit chance unless you're going to stack your crit damage. We are going to run Lethal Torrent because it is probably one of the best mods for pistols, since it increases their multishot as well as their fire rate, and there is no other mod like this. We will increase our multishot further with barrel diffusion. Finally, we will be running Magnum Force. The actual minus accuracy penalty on this weapon isn't that bad. You can shoot pretty far without the shots spreading out that much. Nothing else can really fit and compete in this slot. And in our 8th mod slot, Hydraulic Crosshairs. Since we want to stabilize our crits as much as possible, you can see I have 86.1% right now with a hero buff that only goes up to about 136, but if I have Crosshairs up, I'll get up to about 176% or so, which gives me a lot better chance of hitting mostly oranges, and that will stabilize the amount of damage I do. Now we're going to look at the damage distributions here. You can see that we have pure heat. It has a fair amount of damage for a burst weapon. Once you scale up with Shock Trooper and everything, you'll see it actually hits really hard even without a ribbon. This is the Volt build that I'll be using with it. So I have Arcane Precision here, and I'm actually using rank 4 for a very specific reason. In a 6 cap, limbs rotate faster than once every 18 seconds and you can't refresh this buff. So if you look at things like Arcane Rage and you hover over it here, there's a little can be refreshed indicator on top of it, whereas if we look at Precision, it's missing that little icon and only says tradable. So what this means is you cannot refresh this buff until it fully expires. Since the rotation takes less than 18 seconds, this means you're going to have to keep proccing it later and later, and at one point you won't be able to set it up in time. So this is why we're running rank 4. For our other arcane, we're running Velocity for that huge fire rate. This arcane can be refreshed, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to run it max ranked. So on this Volt build, we'll take a look here. I have Vigorous Swap. It's extremely strong to use on a frame, so it's always recommended. Shock Trooper as always, that's the only reason why you'd run a Volt DPS. Since Sepulcrum is a projectile weapon, this means you cannot break water limbs with it, so you are going to have to bring another hit scan weapon along. And my choice here is going to be my trusty old Rubico. With this ribbon that I have multi-shot damage and crit chance minus Grenier, that's okay. It does affect my damage against leers, but snipers hit so hard this does not matter at all. And because this is going to be a meme run, I'm definitely going to have to bring a Sarpa to strip armor to make sure every shot I put in counts. So here Shattering Impact is the most important mod that you're going to be using to strip the base armor, and then you want to stack on your attack speed. So I have Quickening, Primed Fury, and Gladiator Vice. Amalgam, Organ Shatter is really only here if I say accidentally use my heavy attack. It will just finish sooner since I cut down on the windup. Tech Gravity mod here was actually just to pull in enemies or Vomvalus if they get in the way and just propa them all. Now here's an interesting one. You have your Modus set mod. I recommend putting them on your Sentinels because, as you can see, the set bonus prevents you from being knocked down when you're in the air, and it can be really helpful. As well as my 4 Vigilante mods just to make sure my Rubico crits a little bit more reliably. On my Worm Prime, I have my 2 synth mods as always for the passive reload set bonus. Since you'll see, here, let's take a look at the Sepulcrum again. It has a 4.0 base reload, which is extremely slow. So if you can run your synth mod so you have to just reload less, it helps a lot. So let's take a look at a damage test. Here I'm going to be spawning my Drakkar Manic Bombards. I'm not running Corrosive Projection because I do not want any armor strip to skew this test. first, I'm going to be shooting their heads so that I can proc Arcane Precision, since that's going to be part of the rotation. Then you'll have your shield, you will swap weapons to proc your Vigor swap, and then for this test, we will be shooting at the thigh to simulate the damage. So you can see it takes about 4 shots right now to kill one of these bombards, as long as I have my Vigorous swap and my Arcane Precision buff up. What this means is, against a Terror List in a solo session, I could also break one of the limbs in 4 shots. I know it's going to be a lot stronger than this in a squad because, one, I will have Harrow's crit buff up, as well as the armor strip from Sarpa and my teammate's corrosive projection. So I predict I should be able to break it in about 2 shots against the Terror List based on this data. Another thing to note here is, as you can see, actually this weapon has a little bit of AoE on it, and it can stagger you. If there's allies near you or anything and they walk through you when you shoot, it will stagger, and it can cancel other things such as your reload animations or if you're trying to reset a buff. You may want to consider running Prime Sure-Footed because of this. Now let's take a look one more time at the damage rotation. I'm going to shoot the head here to proc Arcane Precision again, and then I'm going to place my shield and proc Vic Swap. You can see that some of them are actually dying in 3 shots now, but it seems to be an overall trend of 3 to 4 shots, so I think this will translate really well into the fight, and there's definitely enough firepower here, and you do not need a Riven for this weapon to do as it needs to do. So hopefully I'll see you on the field soon with a video of this weapon, and I hope you enjoyed the build guide, and that's all. Thank you very much.
Spawned in on my He came out of the water and you capped him as soon as he got on land.
Yeah, go.